Everything explained in this video is summarized from the CoinMarketCap. And also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for future XRP news and some other cryptocurrency news in general. Now take a look at this. SEC wants $102 million after Ripple Terraform Labs letter. Ripple is accused by the SEC of participating in practices that are comparable to those that have been prohibited in the past. There is a possibility that an appeal to the SEC could add further wrinkles to the ongoing legal dispute. A fresh twist in the continuing legal fight between Ripple and the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has seen the SEC react to Ripple's most recent filings relative to the consent judgment. This is something that crypto enthusiast Jack the Rippler has also reiterated. A response has been provided by the SEC to the letter that Ripple sent regarding the Terraform Labs consent. It would appear that the Securities and Exchange Commission is requesting a settlement of $102 million. Attorney Bill Morgan, who represents XRP, disclosed that the Securities and Exchange Commission has charged Ripple with conduct that is awfully similar to those committed in the past. In addition to making the already complicated disagreement between XRP and the SEC and the legal environment for Ripple's on-demand liquidity service even more complicated, this accusation also complicates the situation. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, Ripple continues to engage in behavior that is awfully similar to the behavior that is responsible for the violation in the first place. Even though there is a warning, the judge is unable to decide Ripple's present ODL since the record that is in front of her does not allow her to do so. Here's the link. The Securities and Exchange Commission believes that the ODL sales strategies that Ripple is currently employing are comparable to those that were declared illegal in the past. The court does not have sufficient records to determine whether or not these sales violate the laws that are currently in effect, despite the warnings issued by the SEC. Legal experts anticipate that the final verdict in the SEC versus Ripple Labs is maybe communicated to the public in July as this ongoing fight continues to evolve. Additional complication to the legal discussion is the potential that the SEC would file an appeal of the summary decision that was issued in July. There is still a significant amount of disagreement on the decision made by Judge Torres, which states that XRP programmatic sales are not similar to security contracts. The ongoing ambiguity keeps both parties on edge since it makes it conceivable for additional legal entanglements to arise. According to statistics provided by CoinMarketCap, the value of XRP was approximately $0.47 at the time of this writing, representing a 0.21 increase over the previous 24 hours. Despite this, a bearish position is indicated by the fact that the price has dropped by 4.13% over the preceding 7 days. Additionally, Ripple has shown support for Terraform Labs, as was previously reported by News. Ripple has said that the SEC's penalty of $4.47 billion are unreasonable based on a recent agreement reached between the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and Terraform Labs. Attorneys for the blockchain company Ripple have requested that a court take into consideration the possibility of imposing a civil penalty that is appropriate in the action that they are pursuing against the SC. On the 13th of June, the legal team representing Ripple submitted a notice of additional authority to the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. They argued that the civil penalty that the SEC had imposed on Ripple was unreasonable, and they cited a recent settlement of $4.5 billion with Terraform Labs and Duquan, who's the co-founder of the company. The Securities and Exchange Commission has requested that Ripple would pay nearly $2 billion in civil fines, prejudgment interest, and disgorgement. Ripple, on the other hand, has petitioned for a fine that is no more than $10 million. The legal team representing Ripple brought attention to cases that were comparable to those involving Block. One, Genesis Global Capital, and Telegram, but they withheld certain information on the gross income of these companies. As Ripple's opposition explained, the SEC has agreed to civil penalties ranging from 0.6 to 1.8 of the defendant's gross revenues in cases that are comparable to Ripple's case, and even more egregious cases. But I said Ripple's legal team. That pattern is a good fit for Terraform. In contrast, the Securities and Exchange Commission is requesting a civil penalty that is significantly higher than that range. Even though there are no charges of fraud in this instance and institutional buyers did not sustain significant losses. It is therefore confirmed by Terraform that the court ought to reject the SEC's request, which is both unreasonable and unprecedented, and that an appropriate civil penalty would be no more than $10 million. A jury found Kwon and Terraform to be responsible for fraud during a trial that lasted about 2 weeks in April. Ripple's battle with the Securities and Exchange Commission has been going on since December 2020. Ripple was accused of misusing XRP as an unregistered security to raise capital, according to the regulator. An important legal precedent was established when, in July 2023, Judge Annalisa Torres declared that the XRP token was not a security about programmatic sales on exchanges. This decision was a huge step forward in the legal system. When the Securities and Exchange Commission filed a motion to dismiss its action against Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, and Executive Chair Chris Larsen in October 2023. It said that it intended to examine potential solutions with Ripple. The trial that was supposed to commence between Ripple and the SEC was initially slated to begin in April, but Judge Torres postponed it in October, and there is no predetermined date for when it will resume. Uncertainty persists around the timetable for the trial. The battle between Ripple and the SEC has just become more intense. Ripple is being accused by the Securities and Exchange Commission of violating securities laws by utilizing its primary business technique, which is known as on-demand liquidity as sales. This gives rise to significant concerns regarding the future of Ripple and has the potential to have a significant effect on the price of XRP. When it comes to defending its EL procedures, will Ripple be able to? When it comes to XRP investors, what does this imply? New allegations from the Securities and Exchange Commission in a tweet that was sent out not so long ago. Pros XRP attorney Bill Morgan brought attention to the continued concerns that the SEC has over Ripple's business operations. The observations made by Morgan were a reply to the SEC's answer to Ripple's letter about the Terraform Labs consent judgment. These observations give light on the ongoing regulatory scrutiny that Ripple is subjected to. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Ripple continues to engage in behavior that is awfully similar to the behavior that is responsible for the violation in the first place. Even though there is a warning, the judge is unable to decide Ripple's present EL since the record that is in front of her does not allow her to do so. Morgan said that the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC asserts that Ripple's present ODL sales activities are awfully similar to the behavior that has previously resulted in regulations being violated. Ripple's ODL service, which is essential to their business model, faces a more complicated regulatory landscape as a result of this development. As far as Morgan is concerned, there is not enough information for the judge to conclude whether or not Ripple's present ODL sales violate any regulations, with the potential that the SEC would file an appeal against the summary judgment that was handed down in July. The issue has become even more difficult. Ripple's persistent obstacles in respect to regulation, Ripple's present operations continue to raise red flags. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, the information that has been provided is not intended to be trading advice. There is no responsibility for any investments that are made based on the information that is provided on this page. Before making any decision about investments, we strongly advise conducting independent research and consulting with a knowledgeable professional